Hey, welcome back. Sorry for the long wait in between episodes. Raf and I have been deep into our basketball seasons with our team. So we would just want to wish you guys wish you and your family happy holidays and thank you for tuning in to our Christmas episode. As you can see, we're all dressed up here. Today our guest speaker is Kyra Lindsay-Ng. I just pass off the mic to her and just give her a little bit of spotlight to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, I'm Kyra. I'm the head therapist at George Brown College, and I know both of these two very well.
Thank
Amazing. All right,
Did you
Kyra,
get
you
to
can
see
kind
my
of
Christmas
just
shirt? Do you want to see
yeah,
my
yo, stand
Christmas
up and
shirt?
show
All
like
right,
show the
this
Yes.
is my
podcast.
Christmas shirt, guys.
You
Did
try
you try
de-icing
icing
it.
it?
How you tried icing it?
Where did you
Love
get
it.
that?
My husband bought it for
Oh,
me.
your husband bought it for you. No,
I
that's
feel like
actually
I do feel like it's a Temu type of thing, though. It might be.
There's nothing wrong with Timu.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I don't think you
until you
saw
throw it
it
into the
before.
wash. Maybe just don't dry it.
I know.
Oh yeah.
It's
Shrinks
only
into a
gonna
crop
fit this
top.
year. Next year you can see all the writing when I send it.
It's
Oh, that's
crazy.
so funny. Okay. So, Kyra, you can just kind of take the floor and introduce yourself to like the people who don't know who you are. So, just like a brief summary of your educational journey from like, let's say, like U of T to York and kind of where you got to how you are now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I started off at U of T in phys ed. It was like my dream school to go to. I had to take calculus to go to U of T, so
Scary.
um yeah, and I never used it again. But I was dead set on being a physio and probably going overseas to do my schooling post grad. But then I met Dan Shagnon, who was an AT. He was the head AT at U of T at the time. And I was like, wait, what? So wait, you do this job like here with all the athletes? I actually had no idea what an athletic therapist was before my second year at U of T. And then I became a little bit more interested. I started checking out Sheridan and York. I talked to Francis a bunch. I looked at my options. I did not want to transfer because, again, I took calculus to go to U of T. So I'm getting the piece of paper that says I went to U of T. Also, the first person really in my family to go to university. So it was really important for me to have that. Just it was my dream school, so I had to finish. But I was lucky enough to get the advanced standing at York, which was 2 years part-time, so I was able to work as a kin. So every day I practiced my rehab, like every day in a clinic with physios and chiros, and then did all my AT learning as I went. And yeah, it was a good, fun 2 years, very quick. I tried to do a lot of things externally and expose myself to as many people as I could. And then, yeah, passed the exam, got hired at Waterloo right away, which was really nice for football with Rob Burns, who's awesome and I love him. Thanks for the opportunity, Rob. It was great. Football's crazy, especially when you're short, but I had a really good time and it did set me up for being in a good position to apply to George Brown the following year when it opened. I had low expectations that I would go from being an assistant to a head after just 1 year, but turns out all those things that I was doing to kind of improve my experience and volunteering here and working, this tournament there and getting involved with other sports really did help me a lot. And yeah, I've been at George Brown since 2007. Yeah, long time.
We were four.
Oh, you don't have to do the math.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Do you want to like shed some light on like because you just briefly mentioned a bunch of these experiences that you were doing because you were at York like part-time. So kind of like what were you doing on the side while you were doing your schooling?
So obviously I had my placements that were given to me. I jumped in at second year, so I did soccer, women's soccer, and I was like one of three people, so I didn't see too much. But then I got involved with a girls hockey, like double A hockey team. And so I ended up doing that stuff on the side as well, and football with the OVFL. So I worked up with Markham Raiders and stuff like that. And then anything that came up that sounded good, I went to Niagara to do the kickboxing world championships with Gus. Obviously, I did a lot of taekwondo because that's the sport I come from. So there was always opportunities to do stuff with that. I did a jump rope world championships. I did some first aid on a medical set. I feel like I did anything that came up that fit in my schedule. I just wanted to expand my skill set, meet people, see different things, feel different pressures because all of those things they feel different, right? Whether you're the lead or you're the assistant or you have to run on the field and treat during a game or you have to be exposed to, high contact, more trauma type injuries, they all feel different. So these are all, adding to my, skill set in building and building and building.
Mm.
That's actually pretty nice. Like, how did these opportunities come up? Like, you just were like, I'm guessing just like talking around and you just got invited to a skip rope competition.
I was gonna
People
ask about that.
Yeah.
I went, so my placement in my last year was at Humber. And Humber was hosting it and they asked if anybody wanted to work it. And I was like, yeah, it sounds kind of lame. It was intense. It was intense. The amount of like I was impressed. I felt shame for my thoughts about it before, but I didn't do a lot of taping or anything like that, but I did a lot of watching and it was really intense. But that's because it happened to be at the gymnasium where my placement was. Um, I think football got to me um, because a York football player was now coaching and he reached back out to York and I applied and I got it that way. I can't remember how I ended up with hockey. It was a long time ago. And then whatever, like, whatever popped up. And so I also remember I was working as a kin in a clinic. So Donovan Bailey owned that clinic and I was working with Chuck Mooney. So sometimes things would come up. He was the Raptors therapist, Raptors AT for quite some time. So sometimes opportunities would come up that way. And I had a very light class schedule. So I was able to, I just worked really, really hard. I just filled all my hours with, getting the experience. And when it came to do the practical exam, it felt like there wasn't anything I hadn't done, right? So that was a really good feeling going into the exam.
Awesome. That's actually pretty, that's like really interesting how that came up. Was that like you were at Humber? Like that was, I'm guessing because you and Mel were the same class, right? Like who was the head AT at Humber at that time?
Lydia Henry.
Olivia Henry?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah. I
I
was not there
know
with Mel. I don't know what she was. I don't remember what her placements were. No, we were
it's
not
okay.
together.
Yeah. We Tivian like pointed out this picture in 110. It's like class of
Yeah,
2006.
you
I'll put
showed
it
it
up
to
on
me.
the screen for everyone, but it was like he was like, "Do you spot anyone familiar here?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh."
It's
Yeah,
Kyra.
very
Yeah.
young. I don't know. I think I look kind of the same, just, you know.
Just smaller.
I was definitely smaller. Pre-kids for sure.
Yeah, and then I was like, "Oh, actually didn't know you and Mel were in the same like class."
Yeah, we had a dream year. Like there's a lot of cool people in that
A
class.
lot of cool
So
people in that class.
yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of cool people in that class. Look them up, interview them. They're cool.
I don't know if they have their names under the photos though, so
Mhm.
yeah, that might just be the only thing. I'll give you the photo. You can just point out this person, this person.
Name
Yeah,
them all.
we had a really good time. We had a really good time. I'm glad I ended up in that class. I'm glad that I got, everything kind of the people that I met are still very, I'm close with a lot of them still. So
Mhm.
obviously I'm very close with Mel and stuff. So
Yeah. Okay. Now, like, because we talked about you didn't know about AT at first. That's kind of surprising because considering your involvement as like an athlete, do you want to touch upon like the kind of sports that you did growing up and how that kind of played a role in, you know, volunteering and working in combat sports as an AT?
Yeah, so I played everything that was available like at school and stuff like that. But I mostly played soccer and I did taekwondo. And I eventually stopped playing competitive soccer to concentrate on taekwondo. Got my black belt when I was 14. That was my first nationals and
Nice.
never really looked back. I loved the sport. I also love the art too. Like I was at taekwondo like every day. Um and so, yeah, but it's not there wasn't a lot of ATs. Like it was a very chiro cover, like a lot of chiropractors did a lot of coverage. So I didn't really know. I never met an AT, and the first, the one of the first injuries I had, I ended up seeing a physio. Was, you know what I mean? Like, so I didn't really have that exposure. Funny enough, Corby and I, who are also good friends, he actually assessed my broken hand at provincials one year. I think he was maybe he had just finished or I don't know. I don't know what the timeline in his AT journey was, but he was one of the first ATs I interacted with as an athlete. Although it wasn't pleasant because I just wish he told me it wasn't broke. Like he told me, like it was broken. I'm like, well, how am I gonna fight the finals? I know my hand's broken. So I just wish that I didn't have that encounter. But anyway, it was yeah, so I didn't really know anybody that was an athletic therapist until I started getting involved with U of T.
Okay, pretty nice. Do you have anything to add to say?
No, I'm just here like admiring this
You're just like
journey.
admiring the journey.
No, don't mind me.
No,
No,
we're
yeah, it's
really
actually a
agree.
super like rich journey. And then tell me like how did you get involved with like Karate Canada? Cause and then you can touch upon your trips because I know you were recently like you just went
To
Oh,
to was like
Egypt.
e
mm.
Egypt? Was it
We didn't
Egypt?
get to talk about that.
We didn't get to
No.
talk about that. I was told you
Okay.
got like your flight got canceled. You gotta like catch us up on
That's
all
all
of this right
right. That's
now.
not the first
Yes.
time that's really happened to me, so it wasn't too bad. I got involved with Karate Canada because somebody from Taekwondo Canada was their executive director. And I had just run a nationals for Taekwondo Canada downtown at a hotel. And it was because I filled it with ATs and we're awesome. Everybody loved it. It was like the taping was good, the coverage was good, the in-ring assessment was good. Like they weren't just like pulling everybody who got a knock and stuff like that. Just really professional, and we did a really good job. And he was kind of new in that role, and he also wanted to have a good experience, and he wanted to have a, so he asked me to go, "Oh, I don't know, karate. I don't know if I want to do karate." And I'm like, let me think about it. And then, and I fired him an email back. I'm like, can I bring whoever I want? Can I staff it or do you just want me? And he's like, you staff it. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we did the whole thing with ATs, some ER docs, which are my favorite to work ringside stuff with because they've seen you just can't shock them. They're fun. And we do a great event, and the president at the time like loved it, invites me to do some summits in Toronto. And there was a conflict because I was traveling with Taekwondo Canada where I could only do half of that summit. So I asked Gus to help me because Gus and I like to cover, martial. We'd already been doing some stuff together anyway. And then when I came back from that World Championships, I was like, oh, by the way, I'm pregnant. So I can't do anything for a while. So Gus, you have to like take over. And that was with my daughter, my second. And then when she was two, I would still show up at like camps and stuff like that, like just, 1 day stuff, but I wasn't traveling with them until 2016. And then I was like, I felt like my daughter was old enough and, so I started traveling with them. I did it for, uh, 2 years ago was going to be my last time in Budapest because my kids are very competitive and they're very busy. And George Brown was becoming like this routine trips to nationals and stuff like that. So that was getting busy, which was great. And I just felt like every month I had to go somewhere and I wasn't, I felt torn. So when I was in Budapest, I was streaming soccer provincials instead of going out and enjoying Budapest, right? And then, or my kids getting the highlights of my kids' soccer game or hockey game. So I said, okay, I think I'm good. And then they asked me every event after that. I said, no, no. And then they said, do you want to come to Paris? I was like, okay, I'll go to Paris. It was a small team for World Cup qualifier or for World Championship qualifiers. And then Egypt was world champion. And the reason I said yes was I loved the people. I spent a lot of time with these athletes. And so when I heard I asked questions like who's going and stuff like that. And they're athletes that are familiar with me. I'm invested in their journey. And it was also a small team, which made it a little easier for me physically to do. I wasn't as exhausted. Like it wasn't 14-hour days and stuff like that. I could just concentrate on the small group that were at that. So it doesn't mean I'm necessarily back. But I never said don't call me again either. So we'll see how that works out. We'll just play it by ear. But it was becoming a lot for me and which is funny because it's one of the things that like Gus and I always argued about. He's like, you need to do more, you need to do more, you need to do this, you do that. But I'm like, yeah, but I also have kids. And I feel, that's so different. I want to be in their lives, on their bench, on their sideline. So, I want to be home. So for me, I have to find that balance still.
I
So
think
if
you
it
do a
works
pretty good
out,
job.
then I'll go again. We'll see.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, for sure. Do you have any funny stories from any of your like karate trips abroad?
Um, Funny stories. from karate specifically.
Or cool
Um,
experiences.
yeah. There's been, I don't know, I see some, I'm a very observant person, and a lot of times, there's a lot of hanging out in the warm-up area. So, especially at bigger events, the warm-up area is separate. And this is why I said like small team less. So you'll see me going because I want to see the fight. And the way karate runs is that you're not allowed, even if you're medical, you can't go to the ring. The host medical goes to the ring and makes a decision about your athlete in the ring. So if something isn't assessed to the way that you think it should be, especially headshots or whatever, like you're at a disadvantage. So I usually warm up room and then I like run to see if I can see the match and then I run back or whatever. Like Dubai, I got all my steps in because like the warm up area was 3 flights up. I was like pounding the pavement. Um, but there's some funny things that go on in the warm-up area. I've seen just some random stuff. So, for me, I think the funniest thing recently was in Paris. We didn't have a lot of athletes, and I have bad knees now. I had just been sitting on the floor chatting with one of my athletes, and she got up to go, and I just couldn't get up. I was like, I'm just gonna stay here on the floor. Like the next person is already starting to warm up. Like I don't need to go. I don't need to run away. So I'm sitting on the floor, and there's an athlete that's coming in front, and it's not uncommon for athletes to change there. They're put on their like kata gi or whatever, you know what I mean, like from their warm up stuff. So he drops his pants, and I'm like, not whatever. I'm just sitting. I'm not thinking. He has this long gi top, but he grabs his jock, which I'm like, okay. But when he goes to put it on, he's not wearing underwear. And from where I'm sitting, entire undercarriage. And I'm like, oh, where do I even look? Where do I go? And first of all, so many questions. Like, doesn't that chafe? Like, why not? What's happening with anyway? Yeah. But yes, yeah, a lot was disclosed.
Hey, I mean, if the athlete doesn't care, no one else should.
I'm like looking around and like there's no one from Team Canada around, like no one to share this moment with.
Oh, it's just you.
Yeah, it was really, I don't know. That's something funny that's recent that happened.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
And then how did you spend your, was it when you got stuck, was it you got stuck in London?
Yeah, that wasn't that it doesn't sound it's not that exciting.
It's not that
If
exciting.
you
Not a
no,
Home Alone
like
moment.
it was the best thing is that I got to go through duty free twice. So the I had a 5 hour layover and I was hanging out and it was delayed, so 6, delayed 7 hours, then delayed 8, and then they're gonna cancel the flight. So we've already flown from Egypt. That's like, 5 hours, right? And we left early. So it's, you're tired and stuff like that. And there's some mechanical problem with the plane. So like, okay, we're gonna check everybody into a hotel. We're gonna get you on shuttle buses. You have to go get your luggage, wait in line for the shuttle. Wait. Do you know, like, it's a big plane, how long it takes to put a whole plane on shuttle buses and then check them all into one hotel? So my whole evening was like just waiting in line for the bus, waiting for, and then like they give us a food voucher. I just want to shower when I got in because I'd been like traveling. And then woke up in the morning and waited in line for a shuttle and then got back to the It wasn't that exciting. Like I said, the best thing was I was able to take everything I bought from duty free, put it in my case, and then go back to duty free. So I was like, oh, win-win. Um, yeah, it wasn't that it. I know everyone's like, oh, you were in London during Christmas. I'm like,
For
yeah, no,
Christmas.
I went to the hotel. Went to the hotel. I ate at the buffet. The best thing was the breakfast 'cause I enjoy a good English breakfast. But
Ooh, hotel breakfast. Nice. Yeah.
yeah, well, I was getting a little bit tired of all the food when we were in Egypt, so I was like,
Oh yeah,
oh,
how was that?
it was good. We only had one person have some tummy issues near the end, but I don't think it was food related. I think it was just the stadium was very dirty, so dirty. Like it was just gross and old and falling apart. And we all wear black pants, and every time you stand up, you have all this white dust all over you and stuff like that. And there was like cat poos and stuff because the cats are just roaming around and stuff. So I think they got sick because they didn't take care of their hands properly before they ate properly.
Mm.
But I
Mm,
like I like all food, so I had a good time. I ate everything, so no problem.
love that.
Is Mediterranean food, is it like spicy?
I didn't have anything too spicy.
Do you have anything too spicy? No. Em told me I
No.
wouldn't last in Egypt because I was like, oh, Kyra, you gotta bring me. And she's like, nah, you wouldn't last in Egyptian food.
No, I don't. There was anything. I'm sure there are spicy things, but nothing that came across. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I mean, Raph, we can't bring you anywhere. You got sick from fried rice.
Fried rice, allergies, yeah.
I
So,
know this guy needs to travel with like Benadryl for himself.
Yeah, Justine won't let that go. Yeah.
Nor should she. Nor
Yeah,
should.
I was at Seneca for the basketball game, and then Justine's
Yeah.
talking to her student. She's like, you should ask Raph how he got his nickname. Because I call him Benny.
Oh, she does.
Yeah, she's like, that's Benny. That's Benny.
Um,
Yeah, and then I guess that's just like my nickname. And then I don't think I've had like a little outbreak like that for a while. Yeah. So
there you go.
who knows? But
Maybe it's a badminton thing. Maybe
maybe
covering
it's
badminton is so incredibly stressful for you that you just,
yeah.
yeah.
Super long days. I think I was telling people when I'm comparing like badminton versus like my CFL days that the badminton tournament days were a lot longer.
Yes.
They were a lot longer, and it's
Yeah.
like different when you are like with the team by yourself compared to when you have like a group of like other ATs and other AT students. It's like different
Yeah.
like demands and the responsibilities like kind of get diverse. Like in the CFL, I wasn't like doing treatments at like 11 p.m. for one of
No.
those athletes with like consistent back pain, right? So it was
Yeah.
a little bit different. I was telling Howard, I was like, Howard, I was like, maybe I think your badminton team whipped me into shape because this CFL like training camp has been pretty easy so far.
There you go. Martial arts
Yeah.
have really long days too. Like when you
Yeah.
cover tournaments, they're long days. I remember in Costa Rica, like it was like 14-hour days. We'd wake up, we'd have breakfast, I always go with the first athlete and I have to come back with the last athlete, right?
Uh,
So head out there, come back, and then there's a lot of times all the food is closed, so we were just having to like order a pizza to the hotel and then just go to sleep and go up and do it again.
mm,
So I mean traveling is great, but there's no guarantee you're going to be a tourist, right?
yeah, that is true.
You have to go into it with that mentality is that anything I can do is bonus and it can't take away from the things I'm supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, but I'd been to Costa Rica before. We went for our honeymoon, so I didn't really care. I was just like tired. It was just long days. Such long days. I took a lot
what's
of
the
naps.
longest tournament day you've done?
Oh, probably a George Brown badminton tournament back in the day before I told them that I'm gonna go home at 11 o'clock hard. Like the first few years I worked, they'd play like so long, like past minute, and then you have to come back and be the first person. I was like, this is not right. I'm like, the tournament needs to end at a certain time.
Wow.
No, I don't need like a lot of sleep or anything. I just, it's just draining, right? I'm definitely someone who can function on minimal sleep. So,
Were you working the GBC Open this year? Because I know like there wasn't a team, right? So
yeah, no, that wasn't.
okay. Well, hopefully like Howard is doing all good. I know he got his surgery, right? Have you been checking up on him, seeing if like he's been
Um,
progressing?
no, because I did when he first got his surgery, but he's in I think he's probably a year out. So, uh,
Hmm.
yeah. But he did when we were he I don't know if he saw us or whatever, but he messaged he's like are you on strike walking around like the campus? I go, yeah, that's me. I don't know if he saw or whatever. And, yeah, I don't know. So he's always in our hearts and in our mind, and hopefully George Brown gets their badminton team back because we want them. We deserve to have them back.
I was joking with M that we should participate in the Open and just like give our funds to help contribute and support that team.
You think we could win?
Yeah,
Wow.
you know even
Okay.
Claire texted me the other like I think like 2 weeks ago. She's like, I think you just stick to therapy and not badminton because M was showing her a video of us playing at
Oh,
Fanshawe.
wow. That's harsh.
I know, right?
So judgy.
But have you seen the video, Kyra? I don't think I have.
Oh, the video.
We'll put the video up. Especially what was that? Claire was talking about this one clip where I was facing this way and then the birdie went that
Oh,
way. Yeah.
yeah. No, don't do that. Yeah, you can just cover. Yeah, don't.
But I think give me a year and I think I can like last a set
That's a
and
spirit. Hard work.
contribute. Yeah.
Yeah, hard work.
You catch me and M at the Open next year for mixed
Yeah.
doubles.
There you go. Mixed doubles. All right.
My
You
poor
heard it
shin
here,
splints.
guys. This is officially happening because they said it. So unless they edit it out, it's happening.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Just for
M,
fun next year?
yeah.
Okay, maybe.
Are you down, M?
Yeah, if I get my shin splints under control,
You can
yeah.
control, yeah. Is she always getting treated in clinic? I feel like M talks about getting treated. No, not
I don't
enough.
know.
No.
Am, are you? Not at St. James.
Do
No.
you and Ben not work on each other?
Ben and I?
No, like Ben and M.
Oh,
Oh no. Ben
Not
only
enough.
treated my ankle when I rolled it
When you
early.
rolled it. Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
think Kyra, you were on strike. And
yeah,
then when
probably.
you came back, I was just really sore and I couldn't walk properly. That's all.
I see
Stretch,
that.
people, stretch.
Stretch.
Biggest
Yes.
piece of advice that you don't follow.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I was like, talking to me?
Oh no. How did you, Kyra, how did you navigate the strike? Was it just a bunch of like picketing and just being helpful?
Hmm. So, I prepared Ben and Claire best I could before I left, knowing that it was most likely gonna happen. So I made sure I communicated with them as best I can so that our student placements and our teams would have as much uninterrupted coverage and the same level of support. It should feel like I just went away for a week. That's what I was hoping that it would. And I think they did a good job. I was really happy with that. The coaches seem to have their own idea of what a schedule should be, so they did, and but that's a different story. As for me, I like to do things well. That is no secret. I'm that, you know what I mean? So if you're gonna strike, strike well. I'm like, hey, it's a fitness opportunity. I got, 4 hours. So let's try and hit 20,000 steps and let's just go, So yeah, I showed up and did my thing. So, um, support your colleagues and everything. And yeah, just made it if you're gonna do it well, you know? And then what was nice was that um, I got an opportunity to speak to people I don't normally spend a lot of time speaking. So I don't normally talk to some of my coworkers as much, so I got to know them better. And then Justine was at Casa Loma, so sometimes we would meet up after or whatever, and Mark would come down so I think we all tried to do what we could to make sure everybody stayed positive, and it's tough, right? You're not getting paid and you don't have a lot of control over what's happening. So, best thing you can do is show up, do your part, and hope it works out. And I was very sad to miss all of soccer. So I just had to keep myself distracted. That Paris trip couldn't have come at a better time. I was like, please, I just need to be useful. I was so happy. And then I only had a couple of athletes and not a lot of taping. I'm like, I can do more. Anybody else? Nobody? No? Okay. All right. I'll sit in the warm-up area and, be exposed too. But
You'd be exposed in this.
what was really cool about that venue was the warm-up area was on top of the PSG clinic. So I don't know if you
Oh,
soccer. So in and out the players, and I'm like, how is nobody? Did they don't know who these people are? I'm like, why is nobody excited? Just me trying to take pictures as people. The only person who seemed to care, and I'm like, well, their clinic was there and their weight room and stuff like that. So, and we did go see a game, which was really cool.
yeah.
But
Wait, go on.
no, it's just really neat that they would just be casually just walking by and coming in for their treatment. I wanted to go in the clinic so bad. I was like, I just want to
Oh,
go.
you weren't able to?
No, probably not. I don't think you should invite yourself into a proteins
Yeah.
clinic, especially when your French is minimal, right? So,
That's what Google translates for.
uh,
You just told them you're lost and you're trying to find your way back.
I'm trying to find the
I was
bathroom.
just hovering. I was just hovering by the door. Ooh, who's gonna come out next? Yeah, it was cool.
Oh, that is so fun. Yeah, you did get to watch a game, right? So you actually had
Yeah.
time
Uh,
when you went to Paris.
Barely, yeah.
Really?
We had time in Paris, but that game originally was scheduled for Sunday, and we had competitors during that time, so we wouldn't be, oh, that's too bad, because we could see the stadium from our hotel, right? So like, oh, and then the game got moved, and the karate schedule also got moved, and it worked out that basically we left the venue at 6, where we could walk to the venue from our hotel, ran back. The one of the athletes that were had done stuff that day wanted to take a quick shower, obviously, and change, and we obviously I changed my clothes. I don't gonna go out in the clothes I work in, right? And then we just walked to the stadium. The games are late; they start late there, so I think it was in like 8:30 or 9 p.m. Like it was and then yeah, it was great. The atmosphere was incredible. and we just tried to get tickets. We just, put our life like, hope this isn't a scam because this guy's like, yeah, yeah, I can get like all these people together and stuff like that. It was awesome. Very good experience.
Oh, did you buy like off a street vendor? Was that it?
No, we bought from like their version of like Ticketmaster, but it was just
Mm.
weird that when we paid, we didn't get seats or tickets right away. It's like, oh, I'll give it to you like, the at noon of the day of the game. We're like, oh, I hope we're going. We just paid 100, we paid 100 euros each, right? So, but it included food and stuff like that. We were in this kind of like a box area thing, so it was kind of cool. Yeah, good food.
Nice.
Yeah.
What is your biggest advice for travel? Because do you remember when I went to Edmonton? That was my first time in a long time on a plane, and then you're giving me all this packing advice. And I think I asked you what the difference between a carry-on and a personal item was.
You
Yes.
asked me too.
Yeah, I was asking everyone because I was reading this website. I had no idea.
Yeah. Well, travel is always, travel rules obviously are always like changing. So always look at where you're going, what are the requirements, like visa entry or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like make sure within Canada is pretty easy. Traveling as an AT, you're always gonna have a checked bag because we have sharps and sprays and liquids. They cannot come on a carry-on. So I try and use space efficiently. I open up the table and I pack because it's still that bag is still 50 pounds, right? So even though my table might be 26 pounds, 'cause I have a small table, I want to get a little bit closer to the 40. I want to offload some of that stuff so there's more space in other, for my other bag. When I travel with a full team, I need two check bags because the table is a bag. And then I also carry it's enough tape, like too much tape for inside the table, but I can't really make it a carry-on, right? So you end up having to bring a case and whatever. But these trips that I went on with a small team, Paris, I did bring a table and got everything inside the table and then just did my clothes in a carry-on. And which was fine. I didn't and it was enough. And then Egypt, I didn't bring a table because I think we only like I remember when I looked at the hotel and it looked like there was like these like couches that kind of look like the couches in the George Brown on the sixth floor. They're firm. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like this in the room. I'm like, perfect. I don't need to bring two things, right? I can travel easier because traveling within Egypt is harder. There aren't a lot of big cars, and if to get a table in and out of stuff is not easy. You have to think about that too, and then carrying it to the venue and all this stuff. So I didn't, and then they changed hotels I didn't know. And so I was like, okay, well now I have no table. So I have to improvise, but it worked out. It's fine. Good thing I know all these athletes. Rule of two in your room, always, right? And
Mhm.
then yeah. But usually usually for a regular team, if I'm having about 30 or 40 athletes, I for seniors, it's a lot of tape. So I have to bring I had two check bags. Always bring clothes in your carry-on because sometimes your bag does wants to take an extended route, right? And if you're going somewhere hot, it's nice to have. I always make sure that I have like a weather appropriate change of clothes. So if I'm going somewhere hot, I must have shorts and t-shirt. Um, Obviously, I'm gonna put a bathing suit in there. Pajamas, because one time I didn't and I had to share a room. Like, this is weird. But my bag got there that night and I'm like, oh, okay. Thank goodness. Because I just met that person. So I was like, so really awkward. My clothes aren't here. I don't have any pajamas. Um, it worked out. Yeah, and then obviously I try and put in like at least our jacket if it's Karate Canada and a shirt. So like if the luggage is delayed enough time, I can still look professional and feel good about how I'm presenting myself, right? So I always make sure that's in a backpack if I'm not bringing a and I try my best not to have to just do a backpack and not a full carry-on for the plane if I've checked a bag because that stuff's all heavy. I don't know if you guys have had to carry a table full of stuff. Like it's physically a lot of work to carry your gear. So I try and be smart about how I do it. Okay, the suitcase rolls, the bag goes across, backpack, easy.
It's a
Did the
lot of
athletes
little
come help
things
you
to think
out?
about.
Yeah, and then lithium-ion batteries, they should really be in your carry-on. So if you have a massage gun or you're bringing like if anybody has like the like any of the leg compression sleeves. Like some of our athletes bring them. I don't, George Brown has them. I don't bring them with Karate Canada or anything like that. But those things have to go carry on. They should not be in your check bag. But
I didn't know that.
yeah. I think some people do check them and the planes haven't blown up, but I don't want to be that person that blows up the plane, right? Is that what you want your legacy to be? The person who didn't know to put it on their carry-on, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely not.
Crazy. It's like back then it was like what, the Samsung phone or something that was like blown
Oh
up
yeah,
with like the
battery.
battery. I don't know what
Yeah.
it was. It's
Yeah, some in
crazy.
some planes they still announce no external battery, don't use your like extra battery and stuff like that. I don't know. And then obviously like if you have like we when we travel for George Brown, we bring our game ready, we bring you know what I mean? Like so there's a lot to carry. And it can be quite heavy and it's all expensive. So you have to be careful. Yeah, I've been at tournaments where people's tables didn't arrive. So that's why I'm really scared to put like all the tape in the table. Like Paris was I was like, oh, I really hope this if it doesn't come, I have nothing. So I put like just 2 rolls of zinc in my I always have a roll of zinc somewhere in my backpack. But yeah, things to consider. I've had it where the only thing to come off the carousel was the t treatment table. That was when I was in Austria, so I had no I just had my backpack and a treatment table, but nothing else, like no clothes, just whatever I had put in my backpack, right? We've had coaches where nothing arrives until the day they're leaving and they have to go. So, stuff happens. So me getting delayed at Heathrow was not the worst. It was way better than at least I speak the language, right? You're not stuck in an airport where you don't know the language as well. You're not efficient. Do you know what I mean? So I can, with ease, I can listen to the announcements and read all the important information, right? So I didn't find it stressful at all. I thought it was a good night's sleep. I was just mad that I missed my massage appointment the next morning.
Oh, did you actually?
I did, yeah. Oh, that's the part I was upset about. I'm like, oh man, I actually proactively booked that because I'm going to be sore and all this flight and all whatever. And yeah, it was sad. It's okay. I rebooked it in my Uber on the way home.
Okay,
But
so you didn't get like
Okay, at
a
least you
no-show or
went.
cancellation fee.
oh, I did. No, 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 I did. I did.
Oh,
I did. Because I found out, and everything is two-factor authentication and stuff like that. And I had an eSIM in Egypt, and I just had Wi-Fi in Heathrow, and I was like, do I turn on my phone? I can turn on my, I'm not poor. It won't kill me. Do I turn on my phone? I'm like, but I looked at the time, and I'm like, it's still less than 24 hours. I'm still getting charged, so I'm just gonna let it happen. And then as soon as I got back, I sent a message. I don't think they charged me actually though. I think it's I have to look into that actually, but I think that they felt really bad for me because I'm always early, never late, never. So, oh well. It's good to have
yeah,
a good relationship with the person that treats you, right?
it
Yes.
does. Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you have a favorite airline? Because like all these stories of like lost luggage or late luggage kind of stresses me out.
I like airlines that are ch like whatever the best prices.
Mm,
We
smart
fly
answer.
a lot of I won't go with the cheapest airline because I do want all of my stuff to be there. When I was an athlete, one time we had a training camp in Cuba and no one's luggage was on the plane. So we got, and this is in January, February. So we had 2 days where we didn't have to train because no one had anything. And we had to go buy shorts and t-shirts. So that was the first time, that was my second time in Cuba, but like one of my first times traveling. So I didn't have anything in my backpack. I had to go buy like,
And you never got it back? Or
oh, we
you
did.
did?
It came
Oh,
like
okay.
on day 3. Then we had to train. And I'm like, oh,
Oh,
it was
okay,
training
okay.
camp. It's like, oh, no more playa. We have to go actually and train 3 times a day. So,
I see. Yeah, because I think because when Mark bought my tickets for Edmonton, it was Porter, and then I forgot if your flight was Air Canada, but you ended up delayed. And then when Justine's flight back also got delayed, I was like,
mm,
when I was thinking about my CFL trip, I was like, not booking Air Canada.
uh,
Like, period.
come on.
Yeah.
I feel like we travel with Air Canada a lot.
Hmm.
Um, and like, but when I travel with my family, like as long as it's not a super cheap discount airline, like I just want the experience to be good, the flight to, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
The plane to be maintained. Yeah, so WestJet, Air Canada, whatever. They're always better than the American Airlines, to be honest. So even though we nothing in Canada's cheap, right?
Yeah.
So
As long as it stays in the air.
Yeah,
I think
but
they actually
Porter
make.
has
Mm.
really tiny like overhead things and
Yeah, they
really
do.
tiny seats.
Yeah.
If you're a bigger person, like your knees are and my knees are touching. I'm 5'4", and we couldn't get our stuff in the overhead. We had to put it at our feet because it
Hmm.
was the last time we went out to New Brunswick for nationals. So
And if the food is good, that's a plus.
yeah, I get not a picky eater. I usually eat whatever they bring. Like okay, but post pandemic when I was traveling. They didn't really do food, and everybody had this like really dry bread, like a one meat, one cheese, this bun thing. It was
Oh.
like, oh, it just sucked all the moisture out of your mouth. And you're in an airplane, so you're already, chronically dehydrated. And then so I don't remember if we were in Uruguay. Anyway, on the way back, we had to stop over in Panama, and there's this empanada place that because we end up going through Panama a lot, so we run over there. We get this like bag of like, and it's like so greasy, whatever. And then when it's time to hand out the sandwiches, we pull out our like paper bag of thing, and everybody's so jealous. It smells so good, whatever. We have the sauce. I'm like, okay, this is how you eat. Yeah, the first few flights after the pandemic, the food situation was just terrible. I did not enjoy that. I just brought my own stuff.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
But I
Oh
had no
yeah.
problem this time. That's fine.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, well, we're gonna change paths a little bit
Okay.
to a little bit of a really interesting topic for a lot of, let's say, our third year students, because we're kind of at the point now in December where a lot of people are doing their applications for like graduate programs, like a ton of people applying to PT,
Mhm.
looking at potentially Cairo, and one interesting pathway that you took was osteo. So
Yeah.
I would love if you wanted to expand a little bit on that. You kind of sold that idea to me when you were explaining it to Jay a year ago, and I was always considering osteo as a path too. So if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, sure. So, it's actually everybody thinks that Gus got me into osteo, but it was actually Andrea Prier who assigned me a topic. She did our third year seminar of like craniosacral and the sacrum. So that the craniosacral was the modality and the sacrum was like there was like an SI injury or something like that. And no one else in my class got anything like that. And I was like, wow, she must hate me. But I had to go and figure it out. So obviously I was at Humber when Lydia Henry's also an osteo. And I was like, hey, I have this like paper I have to write about this. Do you have any like books about like cranial sacral? And she gave me Magoon. And if you've ever, it is hard to read even if you know what you're reading. It is not an easy read. It is very difficult. So I should look up. I bet you I have that paper, so it's probably like so weird and off. Like it can't be that valid. But it started getting my mind thinking. It was very interesting about systems and stuff like that. I've always been a person that sees the whole board. So when you play like chess or checkers, I can always see things very quickly in advance. I'm really good with puzzles and stuff like that. So my mind works in this very global way anyway. So I think I was a good fit for it from that perspective of how I observe the world and how things work in it. And it was I felt I needed more when I left school. So I took some continuing education courses, and the first ones I took were, and they were all taught by osteos with Anne Hartley, who I absolutely love, and honestly, that was my biggest inspiration. I was like, wow, I need to be like that. That would be, I would love to be as smart as Anne, right? And I took some other courses with some other AT osteo combos as well. And yeah, in my mind, I was like, this is answering some of my questions, but these are just pieces, the techniques here, whatever. And when I put my hands on somebody, I feel like I'm being drawn to stuff I have no idea what to do with. So in my mind, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do osteo, but I'm going to have my family first, I say. So in my mind, this is something that maybe I would have started like maybe 5 years ago or whatever, right? But my manager at the time noticed that I was taking continuing education courses that were very osteo based, and I had recently like referred his wife to an osteo, and they had a really good experience. And he's like, "Have you ever considered doing osteo?" I was like, yes. And I'm like, do you know what this means though? This is like 5 years. It's like a 5-day weekend every month, and stuff like that. And he's like, well, I think we can make it work. So going back to like when I was talking about earlier about like having all these opportunities, I think the biggest thing is being able to recognize an opportunity when it's looking at you, right? So I took advantage of all these opportunities as an AT student, and here was the biggest opportunity I could have. And if I had waited 5 years, I would not have done osteo because that person was no longer in charge. It would have been a much tougher sell, I think, in the climate that I'm in now. Like even when in 2015, when we have like, Mel as the manager stuff, I think it would have been a lot harder for me to say, hey, I need this much time off work and but honestly, it's a good investment. Um, but I was very lucky that I did it. But I also had both my kids while I was in that program, which I don't recommend to anybody. I know everybody's, oh, well, you can have your family while you're doing school. Like, sure, you can. But you have to work really, really, really hard. It is so hard. It was the dumbest thing I've ever done on the side. Like, I just should have taken some time off. I don't know. But I liked my classmates, like my friends. And fortunately for me, I'm super kinesthetic. If you show me something, I usually get it right away, hands-on stuff. I was already practicing as an AT. I had a good foundation, right? I had taken all these other courses with people that had experience and stuff. So I wasn't just a student who didn't have any transferable school skills. I had a lot of transferable skills. And I'm like, well, if I start like not doing well, then I'll take time off. But I kept like not just passing, but doing really well. I was like, oh, all right, this is what we're doing. So again, I can operate with very little sleep. But I'm glad I did it. I did not enjoy the thesis part, but it's
Ooh.
done. It was done. Everything was good, and I love it. I think it suits me well. So whatever Andrea saw years back or whatever, like I've always admired Andrea as well, like how she's able to have her family and be the person that she is and her job and stuff like that and that balance. That's a strong role model when I was, starting in AT, and to this day I still like in awe of how many Olympics that she's been able to go to, right? So yeah, I think it was a good fit for me. I love it. When I finish at George Brown, when I retire. I'll enjoy doing osteo for the remaining years of my functional mind, I think. I really like how I can connect and treat in that way. But I still love being an AT. This is my if I didn't like being an AT, I would have left when I was done.
Hmm.
I would have said, okay, cool, I'm gonna go do private clinic stuff and whatever, but I don't know, like the college, the 18 to 24 demographic is like my favorite. They're so fun. You guys know I like to have fun when I'm out, you know what I mean? Obviously, I'm very serious when it's time to be serious,
Hmm.
obviously. But there are all those moments in between, right? Life is short. You have to, like, if you're not enjoying what you're doing, you need to think about that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not how you need to be spending your time, right? So if
Yeah.
you can't laugh at work, if you can't, enjoy the stupid things people say or whatever, if everything irritates you all the time, then this is not for you, right?
Yeah. So how do you fit osteo into your approach into treating today, especially like in the college setting where you technically are like a certified AT, but also like that you have osteopath like in your repertoire?
hmm well, as you guys know, most of my approach is very AT. I have AT students, try to lead by example, but I can't not know what I know. So the way I see things is different, right? So I just is and I hate when people pretend that it's magic and whatever. No, it's just lots of experience, right? And it's how I intake. I'm always listening, I'm always watching. And I can, like I said, I can do it very fast. So I'm like putting the pieces, it's probably that. So it's a fun party trick, but really I'm fast at it because I have a lot of experience. I've done the same, I've seen a million knees and ankles and all these things, right? And when something different comes along, that's when I'm like, oh, maybe you know what I mean? But I don't really treat tr very osteopathically at the college. Right now I'm sitting in my home clinic and I treat as an osteo from home. Not as a little bit more of a traditional approach, you know what I mean? Where I do more of those things. But, sometimes I do sneak in things that are helpful, but I always have to come with a disclaimer, hey, I'm doing this because I have this other, and then I have to write that in my chart. Do you know what I mean? Like you have to make sure that because I'm there as an AT. And
Right.
I usually try and book those difficult things, like concussion stuff, outside of the busy times anyway, which is outside. of when AT students are there as well, and we try and do a one-on-one. I think concussion treatment and stuff is very effective, taking that osteopathic approach for sure. So I found it very helpful with our athletes.
Mhm.
But you also don't want to do the concussion treatment when everybody's in the clinic anyway, regardless of who you are. But sometimes you have no choice because you don't know when they're going to come. They're like, I booked an appointment for my head, and it's like 4:30, and it's like crazy town. But
Yeah,
you do what you do.
makes sense.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah. I mean, whenever you see Kyra in clinic and she's closing her eyes and then she just has her fingers up, you can't help but imagine that has to be magic, right?
Ah, sometimes I have to because you guys are distracting.
We're distracting?
Sometimes. Yeah, I'm always watching. I'm like, what are they doing? Why are they doing that? It's better not to look. That's how I felt about driving in Egypt. It's just better not to look. Just look out the window. Just don't look forward. It's better not to look.
Speaking of driving, there's this one time in Edmonton where Kyra is looking at the map and she's telling Mark to drive into the streetcar tracks on the
But
next
we
left.
didn't. Yeah, I'm not a great navigator, I guess. That's what technology's for, right? I never promised to be a good navigator. Good DJ, yeah.
Good DJ?
Ah,
Yeah.
definitely got the DJ skill on the car ride there. But
hmm
yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's better not to look, especially when you're the passenger in the back seat.
Oh
Yes.
my God.
We survived. We
Yeah,
only
we
got
we
lost like
did.
once or twice in Edmonton. That's fine.
But yeah, that was so fun. And speaking of like having fun in the clinic, I'm getting so much FOMO because you never did any of these fun reels when I was there. The baby shark, the shark
I
reel.
Oh, the baby shark one. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
and I was like telling Em, I was like, Em, she got David to get to sit in the
In
in
the
the
tub.
cold tub for the video.
I'm also loving
Um,
the stories that you've been posting the last couple of
Yes.
days.
oh, the Legos.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Lego Kyra.
You have such a diverse like collection of Legos. How did you get the GBC shirt printed on that Lego?
Um, that is my husband did it. So he got the graphic and this shirt used to have I think a banana on it. So we got the nail polish remover, took the banana off, and he was able to put that sticker on for me. I'm having a very hard time finding a Claire and a Ben though. I had like a kind of looks like I asked him like, this is like not your hair, but would you? He's like, I like it. I'm like, okay. But most of our Legos in our house, like this clinic is it's actually right here because where my office is. Let me take out the is built from like mostly Marvel and like there's the ice bath at the bottom. Marvel stuff, Star Wars stuff. Like we have like tons of Lego. So I just repurpose that stuff. All the Christmas stuff you're seeing, it's my hobby. I collect the Christmas Legos. So that is like actually mine. I take it apart every year, put it back in its bins. Every November, I build it again. That's my hobby.
Love that.
It's
No, I
very
really
relaxing.
do.
I like building. I used to want to be an architect. So yeah, until about like grade nine. And then I got more involved in sport. And I was like, actually, I'm not good at math.
You say that, but you
But
went through calculus.
I
I was
did.
about to
I
say.
did. All for U of T. It was worth it. I got my very expensive piece of paper. I love it. Phys ed was great. We were like one of 100 people. Like it was it's now kin. It's a bigger program, but I was part of the small cohort that really those are still some of my best friends. I'm into a couple of reunions so far, and everybody's like exactly the same because I had to fill out like a personality thing to get into the program. So we all automatically got along, which is great. And then I just found it really weird going from there to like York. I'm like, thank God for AT. But I was like, well, everybody is like there this it's like spread out, and you don't know your classmates or anything like that. So two totally different experiences. But the AT experience at York was very, very good. Yeah. But yeah,
Awesome.
I'm still kind of like an architect, but now I'm like a restorative architect of the body.
I was gonna say, there
Less
That was
is
it.
math.
like
Yeah.
some
Is less
similarities.
math. Yeah, there's less math. I still like to build things. Yeah.
Building back up. Yeah.
Yeah. Right? Fixing the problems.
Mhm.
That's cool. We have like one last like major topic, and that would
Okay.
be like how does it feel to be the head of a college? And how does this environment kind of differ from like your 1 year at Waterloo? And are there any unspoken difficulties about being the head AT?
Um, yeah, being in charge, your job is to protect the people that are with you, right? So to make sure that no one else gets shit on, right? Your students, your part-timers and stuff like that. So you're gonna like play defense for these guys, which is what's funny because on the strike I wasn't there, and even though I prepared my part-timers, the coaches, oh, Kyra's here, not here, Mark's not here. Oh, let's not practice whenever we want. Because that they do try that, but we shut that down. Like we try and intervene before it becomes a problem that someone has to deal with, right? And you guys have both heard me say, hey, if things get added and we don't know about it, you gotta tell me, and and you know what I mean, and not obligated to go. And I try and so it's a lot of protecting people and it's a lot of managing personalities. So managing injuries, that's one thing. So yeah, being the football AT, yeah, I managed the injuries, the 100 guys, whatever, try and learn the practice players' names, never really did. But do you know what I mean? Like then I go home and I have to worry about football because I'm in charge of football, but I don't have to worry about everything else, right? But at George Brown, I worry about everything else, right? About inventory, about, you know what I mean? Like injuries. And I do deeply care about my athletes. So it bothers me when I, you know what I mean? Like, oh, somebody is like dealing with something. I'm like, why won't they go, you know, they haven't got extra yet. Or you'll get that message from me, hey, let me know as soon as you know what's going, I want to know right away. Like, what is the status of their injury and whatever, right? And then yeah, just managing all the relationships between the admin, the coaches, the student ATs, the athletes. That is probably the hardest part. I mean, lucky for me, managing inventory and payroll and stuff like that is, you know, the scheduling. Scheduling, I feel like, you know, those aren't things that stress me out, but sometimes like, you know, dealing with some personalities are like it's exhausting. You know, when you have a coach who like is so mad that someone is hurt, but I didn't hurt them, right? I really didn't hurt them. Like, look, it's swollen. They can't do anything. I'm showing you. I'm not making it up. This is not a there's not a power trip here. I don't win any prize for having injured athletes. I want them to be back, but they actually can't. And this go, well, when can I get back? And whatever, and they're so mad. And it's acknowledging that their issue is not with me. It's their frustration, and unfortunately, it's their immaturity to be able to deal with their frustration in a more positive, productive way, right? So we get that, and even some of the best coaches have these moments where they like flip out or whatever, right? And it's like, so not taking it personally is my best advice. I really don't think it, you know, at the end of the day, I didn't hurt them. I'm not making up something, do you know what I mean? Or some protocol that doesn't exist, or, you know, I'm not telling them fake X-ray results, right? Broken is broken, right? Like, I don't know what else to say about that, but if your arm is broken in two places, you're not playing. So, and then it's just protecting the athletes that these are amateur athletes, they're college athletes. For a lot of these people, this is the highest level of sport they're going to play, and they have the rest of their lives to live. So, we don't need to rush everything back. You know what I mean? You might need to use your hands. Like if it's your right hand and you're right-handed, or I know that you're in a program that is, you know, you're going to need these things. Like why are we rushing out so that we can like beat our like crosstown rivals? Like isn't it better just to wait and get them back in and then have them stay back and then have them for the whole second term and into playoffs or whatever? Like I think there's a lot of short-sighted thinking in the moment with a lot of coaches. And so you're constantly having I just recycle my problems. So I'm getting really good at it. Like so now I was like, oh, you're so calm. How did you? I'm like, oh, it's not the first time someone's like, you know, took a shit right in the doorway of the clinic, right? Like, hey,
Don't tell me that's
live.
actually happened. That was a
Wait.
figure of speech, right?
There you go. Way to ruin a good talk. But like that's what they do. They're having a bad day and they're just like you're there and they're just unable to filter themselves, right? So I've learned to really look at people and say like, wow, I wonder what else is going on in their life. If they're this mad at me and I actually have nothing to do with I'm just the person telling them what else is going on. So I'm learning to be more sympathetic to in my response has been effective for me as well. I don't get defensive or mad. I've been firm certain times. I'm like, that's not how we talk to people. But being accept, you know what I mean? And I'll accept apologies and I don't hold grudges. And who knows, like maybe their pet died that morning, or they got bad news, or something terrible is happening at home, right? Is it fair what they're doing to me? No. But how can I navigate it in a way that keeps the peace with our athletes, our student therapists, again, our admit, how do I keep the peace? And that's basically, I feel like the head AT is the peacekeeper. You're protecting everybody from putting their foot in their mouth, essentially. Do you know what I mean? Like maintaining the relationships that need to happen for us to be effective and competitive and safe. At the end of the day, the athlete is your responsibility, right? Especially for me, it's athlete, then student therapist. And I said to Rafa before, I'm like, the athlete is the most important right now because my job description does not say, please teach student ATs. It does not. It says nothing about student ATs. It says everything about our George Brown athletes, right? And then to guide and to mentor as we go along. I love that opportunity. It is not part of my job description, but I love that we make it. And then obviously maintain the relationships between admin and stuff like that. So, but we have pretty good coaches at George Brown. We have people have their moments, but it's not like, an uphill battle with people, right? Find your peace. And I think that you have to still earn their trust. It's not automatically, you know what I mean? Like, well, I'm Kyra, so you have to believe everything I say. So, you know what I mean? Like, you still have to earn their trust and work those relationships as well.
You know.
That was actually like really good advice.
I'm just nodding the whole time and I'm like, yes, yes,
Well, you guys have
yes.
experienced, and I think you've seen me manage at different times, and I manage people differently depending on who they are.
Yeah,
Right? Certain people, you can be very firm with them, boom, they get it right away. Other people, you're just like, okay, I need to take this, let them digest that, and then go back and come at it at a different angle, right? So like that's the thing. Every coach is different, right? And you have to change your approach. Just like every ankle sprain is unique in its own way. The same approach doesn't work for every ankle sprain. So you have to always treat the person. Right? So then I'm treating them with my with my patients, I think. But I treat them all differently depending on who they are and do you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
what without sacrificing myself, right? So that's the other part is you have to protect. When you're protecting everybody else, sometimes you forget that you also need to protect yourself, right?
wow. It's the biggest nugget from today.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You put yourself last, right? That's just like the nature of the beast. Just highly empathetic people tend to go into this profession. And when we're very empathetic and we care so much about everybody else, sometimes we forget that if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of anybody else effectively. We can't let ourselves get run down, broken down, emotionally run down, right? I
100%.
you have to be, you're going to do the best thing for them when you are grounded and you are okay, right?
I agree. Like AT is very, I think you've told me this before. AT is a very selfless profession, but at times it does help to be a little bit selfish when you need to take that time for yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else you want to add, Em?
No,
No?
nothing.
Awesome. Well, this is my favorite part of
Lightning
the
round
Oh,
podcast.
lightning
questions.
Yes.
round.
Yes. Okay, wait, can I do the honors?
Yeah, you can do the honors.
Yes, yes, yes. My favorite. Okay, Kyra, we're gonna start with our first question. What's your favorite tape job?
Um, do you need to know why or
Oh.
just answering? No?
That's an
You can say a
interesting
little
one.
bit why. You can say a little bit why. It's interesting.
Oh. Because you have to be really precise with the angles. So you can't just like you can do like a most people can do a pretty decent blindfolded like ankle tape job because the angle is the angle because the foot, but the thumb is particular. It requires a particular extra attention. And yeah, I just like taping it. Yeah.
I haven't seen you tape a lot of thumbs when I was there.
No, that's the thing with my job these days is like I don't want to steal the tape from the tape job from the student who needs to like, perfect it, learn it, earn the trust. And I'm also not going to be the person taping that athlete at an away game. So they
Hmm.
really need to that taping relationship between the student and the athlete needs to be good because the feedback, whatever, they can't be like, oh, well, Kyra does this. Okay, well, every tape's differently, right? You two need to figure it out so that it's effective but I do like jump in and tape when we're busy and stuff like that. And then I always have to explain because I tape differently from everybody tapes differently. Everybody has a unique approach to taping, right? You learn a textbook way and then you adapt, right? Hopefully you're adapting to everything that's in front of you, but you also have your own little flow, right? So
Mhm.
Ben doesn't do it this way or Claire doesn't that way. I'm like, okay, but did you like it? Yeah, it's great. Okay, good. If you don't like it, come back. I'll take it off. Right? There's more than one way to do things. So yeah, anyway,
Mhm.
dumb. I like doing, and it
Okay.
looks pretty. If you do it nice, it looks so nice. Yeah.
In the same way, tape jobs kind of need a little bit of work. Okay, next question. What's your pregame song, if you have one?
Hmm. Well, I guess it would really depend on the sport. But I've always really liked Metric's Stadium Love. Like I would listen to that like really loud in my car before every practical that I did in osteo. Just pump myself up before I went into the practical. But yeah.
I've never heard of the song.
I'm
Have you?
Googling it right now.
Ah, Metric. They're Canadian. Support Canadian, guys.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That will be a Google search after.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Okay, what's your favorite sport to watch and cover? Or cover?
Probably soccer. And I like to watch football as well. And I've worked it, but watch a lot of soccer. Covering oh jeez. I like covering soccer too. I like covering mostly. I like when you change it up too, and you get to do a bunch of different things. But
Okay, fair. Okay, you talked a lot about this, but what are the minimum hours of sleep that you need to function in the clinic and or field?
6, but I could do less on like tournament days and stuff like that. Just have this driven by responsibility and just catch up on sleep later. But I also have a very busy life, so I feel like 6 is kind of like where it's at. Should probably work on extending that a little bit. And I don't nap well. I can sleep anywhere though. I can sleep on a plane and the bleachers, whatever, but I can't be like, oh, I need to go lie down and take a nap. No, I just have to like fall asleep in random places. Yeah.
I was gonna make a joke when she said 6, but I won't.
Oh,
Oh,
do you
I
know
have an
what that
11
means?
year old. I have an
Yeah.
11-year-old.
I love that. Okay, what's your preferred method of caffeinating to stay awake?
Coffee, 2 milks. Coffee doesn't keep me awake. I could have a coffee right before bed, but I just enjoy coffee.
What
Yes.
the heck? That would keep
I'm
me up
one of
till
those
4
people that
a.m.
like can process it. Yeah, I'm like no, I can have it. I'm like, oh, I need a warm drink. I could have a coffee before bed. Yeah.
Wow.
And do you
Wow.
remember that story I told you when I was with Kyra at Provincials and then I went and downstairs to grab my coffee and then she came up. I came back up, she's like, Raph, where's my coffee?
Rude.
I was like, Kyra, I'm so sorry you were talking to someone and she was like, here, let me
No.
show you how to interrupt the conversation. Like
Yeah. Then we walked around. I'm like, Justine, I'm getting coffee. You want one? And then boom.
I'll have you know then the following day I went and I got her a coffee.
Okay, good. You learned your lesson. Awesome. Okay, next question. If you have a whole year to train for any Olympic sport that you've never played before, which one would it be?
Curling, 100%. I just want to
I
yell.
said the same thing.
Yeah, curling. Hard, hurry hard. So fun. And there's a social aspect built in after.
Oh, the wood drinking?
I'm not getting, I'm not young anymore. I gotta enjoy my life, right? If I'm gonna commit, you know, yeah, curling for sure.
Okay, fair.
Good answer.
What's your most embarrassing or funniest clinic or field story?
Hmm. Oh, so many. I once had an athlete surprised that they had ribs in their back. And like, like, wait, I have ribs in my back? And I'm like, they go all the way around. Like, have you not never seen a skeleton? No, they're just right here. I'm like, no, they're not. It was really hard to keep a straight face, but I did. I've also had people, for whatever reason, just not wear underwear and like short running shorts, and you do the Thomas test, like, I'm good, I'm out. We are going to do something different today, even though we've been treating your hip like it's not a surprise. Like this is the test that, you know what I mean? Like, anyway, yeah, people like to come unprepared for me for whatever reason, or take their clothes off without me asking. I'll turn around and be like, oh, you can put all of that back on. We're good. It's an open concept clinic and HR is not too far away. Like we need to put all our clothes back on, right? I did not ask you. Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm very specific. If you listen, I'm like very specific. I'm like, do you have a shirt underneath your sweater? Like, no, just my sports bra. We're fine as is. We're good. Or whatever. Yeah, I ask a lot more questions now. I've been burnt too many times. Yeah. I've
Oh,
also, you can't assume, also, I've also learned the hard way, you can't assume that a girl is wearing a sports bra or a bra. And they're like, are you comfortable taking off your shirt? I am. Whoop. And I'm like, okay, put it back on. That happened to me like with Karate Canada once. So I was like, okay. Like, not what I was expecting, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just make people too comfortable. I don't know. I try and be relatable and make people feel comfortable, but this is getting ridiculous. Yeah.
no
Does that happen to
comment.
you?
No, just Kyra.
Something about me, just people just wanna, I don't know, they're just very comfortable. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Oh, when I answered that question for our very first episode, I completely forgot about this one story that we had at George Brown. So, I think it's it was one of the badminton like it was one of the GBC one of the days of the GBC Open, and then Bree ends up buying I think it was Chipotle for us, and I spill some on like the clinic bed and on the floor trying to open it up. So.
I know a
Um,
story.
So I'm like, oh shoot. And then I made a mess and was like, Kawakara's not here. Let me see what I can do. And the one thing that came to my mind was making some zinc and picking up the rice one by one with the zinc strips. And then Kara walks in and then she's like, Rap, what are you doing? We can't be wasting tape like this. We're on a budget. Go grab a broom. And I went, we have a broom? It was behind the door in the laundry room.
Yeah. I was like, what? See, this is why sometimes I have to close my eyes. Okay. Also, I am like, for those that know me, I'm like, I only like run-through tape, but it happens to be like the most expensive zinc tape. So I am a little bit protective about how we're using our tape to like, I'm like, who's using my tape to put up posters? Like, get some masking tape. But yeah, I'm a bit of a tape snob. But
Is
no,
this
don't use tape to pick up rice. Eh? Go get something else. A broom is perfect.
I know, yeah. I still think about that from time to time.
that's the AT way?
You do everything
I
with zinc.
I I did use a little bit of zinc to help with some present wrapping. On the inside, the whole boxes, repurposed
Ah,
boxes. Yeah, not on the outside. Yeah, but it definitely happened.
Love that. Okay, last question. You ready?
Okay.
What alternate career choice would you have if not athletic therapy or osteo, I guess, in your case?
Mm. Um, I don't know if I couldn't do any of those things. Um, I used to think that teaching would be okay, but then I learned that I really only like my own children. I don't really like other children. I did one too many years of summer camp and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to be a teacher. I'm not. I can't. I don't know. Let's see. If I couldn't, so I can't even be an osteo.
no.
It's too late to be an architect because I didn't do anything
The
else besides
math.
calculus, so I can't do that. Um, I don't know. I think it might be fun to work at the zoo. I know it's not a career per se, but I don't know, like animals. Or the Lego store. I'll work at the Lego
Oh, the
store.
Lego store,
I was
yes.
gonna
That's a
say
great
something with
answer.
Lego.
Yeah, I like Lego. I have a, let's see.
No
Oh, I
way.
like that.
Yeah, it does bug me that his liver's on the wrong side, but whatever.
It's a mirrored image. It's a mirrored image.
Maybe. Yeah, someone reversed it. I don't know.
That
Yeah.
was awesome. That was all of our questions for you. Do you have anything to say to the podcast viewers? I know when this episode comes around, they're gonna be in like the middle of, not in the middle of, but they're gonna start thinking about placement applications. So
Hmm.
any kind of message you would want to send to anyone?
Well, first of all, I hope everybody enjoys their holidays and takes the time to have a break. It's really important that work-life balance is like super important. So, you know, work hard while you can when you're young, but enjoy your family as well because that is super important. In terms of like applying, my best advice is ask the people that are in the placements already. That's how you're gonna know if it's for you, right? Like I think most of, especially the college placements, they're all great, right? There's something unique to be offered at every location and stuff like that. So just for me, I pick by personality. Like I pick people that I want to spend the season with, that I think I want to spend the season with, who, you know what I mean? And I'm shopping, when I shop, I shop by the team. When I'm talking to somebody, I'm thinking about all my teams, all my coaches, and whether or not I think I can tolerate them for a few months. And
Tolerate.
I always like my students. Like I'm not the person at the table who's griping about, like sometimes someone does something stupid and it's funny, so you share it. But like I'm not the person complaining about like how they wish they didn't have somebody or whatever. I'm always like I think I do a pretty good job matching our teams and our students, and Claire and Ben are great. So like I'm not worried about trying to find people that, you know what I mean? Like I think the three of us are pretty similar in our approach to being we're gonna learn a lot, but the atmosphere is not gonna be intense, you know what I mean? Like yes, the schedule can be intense. I can't do very much about that. It's athletics. It happens in the evening and on the weekend. Sorry guys. That's that's what happens. And is busy because it's a lot of games in a short time. But, we make the most of our downtime, whether it's working on techniques together or making a funny video for me because it's funny, or having random conversations about different things, which are always good. I love those random conversations. There was one with Ryan last year about toothpaste and wetting the toothbrush, and that was like one way stuck out. But yeah, just if you have to pick the place that makes sense, right? Because you're going to be there for a lot of hours. Do you like the person that's going to be supervising? Do you want to be an AT? That's a good question to ask yourself, right? Because not too many 9 to 5 AT jobs, not impossible, but not too many. And varsity is really where it's at anyway. So I encourage everybody to get varsity experience.
Awesome. Well, thank you so
Awesome.
much, Kyra, for joining us. Really appreciate it. So yeah, Raph, anything to add to end off this episode?
Nope. I hope everyone watching has a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Mm-hmm. We'll see ya in the new year.
See you in the new year. Don't forget to
Yeah.
go to your tournament.
Real.